Open, kitchen, afternoon light, Tuesday. I was 68 years old when my daughter-in-law locked me out of my own kitchen. It wasn't about the food. It was never about the food. Visual, close-up of hands not hers, wrapping a silver padlock around the refrigerator handle. The key turns. Click. The sound echoes. Her hands were shaking. Mine were steady. Narrator over. I need to be honest with you about something. I didn't see it coming. Or maybe I did, and I just refused to believe it. Visual. Wide shot of the kitchen. Sunlight streaming through the window. Everything is clean. Too clean. Everything is hers, the appliances, the curtains, even the way the chairs are arranged. I moved into this house 3 years ago. 3 months after my husband died. I had nowhere else to go. My son, he said, "Mom, come stay with us, as long as you need." Those were his exact words. As long as you need. Visual. My hands now, worn, aged. These hands have cooked 10,000 meals. They're opening a drawer, taking out an apron. It's faded, the color almost gone. I was useful then. I cooked, I cleaned, I paid for things. The cable bill, the groceries, sometimes the mortgage when money got tight. Cut, living room. Same afternoon. Visual. She stands there, young, beautiful, angry. Her jaw is clenched. She says, "This fridge is mine. I paid for the groceries. You need to buy your own food." I stare at her. "You're locking me out of the refrigerator?" "I'm locking you out of my groceries." Visual. Close up. My face. No tears yet. Just silence. The kind of silence that comes right before something breaks. I don't argue. I don't yell. I don't cry. I just nod. Narrator over. You know what's worse than being told you're not wanted? Being shown it so clearly that you can't pretend anymore. That's what the padlock did. It made it real. Visual. My hands, reaching toward the refrigerator, almost touching the padlock, then pulling back. The weight of that moment. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3. My son comes home at 6 o'clock. He doesn't say anything about the padlock. He doesn't even look at it. He just walks past it like it's invisible. I'm standing at the counter, making coffee. His coffee. The way he likes it. He says, "Mom, don't make dinner tonight. We're ordering out." I say, "Okay." He leaves the kitchen. Visual. The coffee, steaming, going cold in the cup. No one drinks it. Cut. My bedroom. Night, 11 p.m. I'm lying in bed. I can't sleep. Outside, the street is quiet. The house is quiet. It's the kind of quiet that feels like being alone in a crowd. That's when I decide. Visual. My hand reaching for my phone. The screen illuminates my face in the darkness. I dial a number I haven't called in 5 years. "Hello?" "It's me. Don't say my name out loud. Just listen." Visual. Close-up of the phone screen. No name. Just a number. It's my brother-in-law. The lawyer. The one I haven't spoken to since my husband's funeral because my son said it would make things awkward with his wife. "I need to ask you something about the house. About my rights. And I need you to not tell anyone." He doesn't hesitate. "What happened?" She locked the refrigerator, and my son walked past it like it was normal. Visual. Long pause. The phone. The darkness. My breathing. "Give me a week. Come to my office Monday. Bring anything you have, bank statements, receipts, anything that shows your financial contribution to that house." I hang up. Narrator over. That's when everything changed. Not because of the padlock, but because I finally understood something my son had forgotten. I didn't need permission to take care of myself. I never did. Visual. My hands again. Worn, aged, but strong. These hands have been underestimated. These hands have been taken for granted. I spent 3 years trying to earn my place in that house. 3 years of cooking and cleaning and paying and smiling through the small cruelties. The way she'd forget to invite me to things. The way she'd roll her eyes when I spoke. The way she'd grab my son's arm and pull him away from me like I was contagious. Visual. Flash montage quick cuts. Me cooking in the background while they laugh at the dinner table. Me cleaning up dishes alone. Me holding a photo of my son as a child. Me waiting by the phone that never rings. But the padlock was different. The padlock was a line drawn. And on one side of that line was a woman begging to belong. On the other side was a woman who finally understood she didn't have to beg for anything ever again. Cut. Back to kitchen. Next morning. Visual. The padlock gleaming in the morning light. She comes down for breakfast. She's cheerful, almost victorious. "Did you sleep okay?" she asks. "I'm making my tea. With water I got from the tap. The one thing she can't lock." "Fine," I say. "I was thinking we could all go to dinner on Friday. Somewhere nice." I don't respond. She moves closer. "What's wrong?" I turn to her, and I smile. Not a real smile. A smile that says I know something she doesn't. "Nothing's wrong," I say. "I've just made a decision, that's all." Visual. Her face, confused, searching. She has no idea what I mean. "What kind of decision?" I pick up my tea. I hold it in both hands because, suddenly, my hands are shaking. The kind that changes everything. Open. Photo album. Soft light. I need to tell you who she really is. And who I was before she decided I didn't belong. Visual. Hands my hands, turning pages of an old photo album. Careful. Tender. Each page holds a life. This is my son at 5 years old. Christmas morning. He's holding a toy truck I stayed up until 2 in the morning to assemble. I had no idea how those plastic screws worked, but I figured it out. Visual. The photo, him smiling, his face pure joy. This is our wedding day, 42 years ago. My husband was nervous. I was nervous. But we looked happy. We were happy. Visual. Young couple. Both smiling. Both believing forever meant something. This is the day my son was born. Visual. The photo. Me holding him. Exhausted. Radiant. I gave him everything. Not because I was perfect, but because that's what mothers do. That's what love looks like when you're brave enough to give it all away. Cut. Same album. Pages flip faster. Overlay narration. 3 years ago, my husband had a heart attack. 1 moment. That's all it took. He was 50 minutes away from the hospital. He didn't make it. Visual. Photos of my husband, at the beach, in the garden, laughing. Then the funeral photo. Me in black, eyes hollow. I had no savings. No house, no plan. I had a son and a daughter-in-law I barely knew, and I had a choice. Visual. Album closes. Hands fold back in lap. Cut. Kitchen. 3 years earlier. Day. Visual. I'm arriving with 2 suitcases. That's everything I own. My son says, "Mom, you'll stay as long as you need." I say, "Just until I figure things out." We both know I'm lying. Visual. She young, polished, beautiful stands in the doorway watching me. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes. She says, "Welcome home." But her tone says, "This is not your home." Narrator over. The first month, I tried so hard. I cooked every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I cleaned the house until it gleamed. I paid for groceries. I paid for the internet. I fixed things. I made myself indispensable because I thought if I was useful, I would be loved. Visual. Quick montage me cooking, cleaning, organizing, sun rising and setting, days passing, my hands moving, always moving. I don't think she hated me at first. I think she just wanted me gone. Cut. Dining room. Evening. Dinner time. Visual. The 3 of us at the table, beautiful meal, everything I made. My son says, "Mom, this is incredible." I smile, proud, happy. She takes a bite, chews slowly. "It's a bit heavy, don't you think?" she says. "I've been trying to eat lighter." Visual. My hand stops mid-bite. I say, "I can make something different tomorrow." "You don't have to," she says. "It's fine." But the tone says, "It's not fine. You're not fine." Cut. Living room. Later that night. Visual. She and my son on the couch, laughing, Whispering. I'm in the kitchen, alone, cleaning up the dishes she didn't touch. I can hear them but can't make out the words. Visual. My son looks back at me through the doorway. Our eyes meet. He turns away. That's when I knew. He was choosing her side already. Cut. Phone screen. Close-up. Night. Visual. Text messages on my son's phone visible when I walk past him on the couch. Her. Your mom made that comment about our marriage again. Him. I know. I'm sorry. Her. I don't think she's happy we're together. Him. She's just adjusting. Her. It doesn't feel like adjustment. It feels like intrusion. Visual. I stop. I pretend I didn't see, but I saw everything. Narrator over. Do you know what it feels like to realize your own son believes his wife over you? Not because she's right, but because she's louder, because she's strategic, because she knows exactly how to make him doubt me. Visual. My hands trembling, putting a dish away, trembling again. I started asking myself, am I being too much? Am I in the way? Is she right that I don't belong here? Cut. Bedroom. Day. Weeks pass. Visual. Me sitting on my bed, looking at my suitcases, still partially packed, like I'm ready to leave at any moment. The comments came more often. Visual. Quick cuts of moments, her saying them, me hearing them. Your cooking is making the house smell. You're still here? I thought you were looking for your own place. Your son and I need couple time. Can you go to your room? You're spending too much money. Maybe you should contribute more. Each one was a small cut. Not deep enough to bleed. Deep enough to know I was bleeding. Cut. Kitchen. Afternoon. Visual. She's on the phone. She doesn't see me in the doorway. Her, into phone. His mother just doesn't understand boundaries. She's always in our business. Visual. I back away slowly. Silent. Narrator over. I was 65 years old, and I was being erased in my own son's life. I was useful and invisible, necessary and unwanted. I paid for things. I cooked. I cleaned. And every single day, I made myself smaller to take up less space. Visual. Photos again, me in the background of family photos now, always in the corner, never in the center. My husband would have said something, my husband would have fought. But my husband was dead, and I was alone, and I didn't know how to be brave anymore. Cut. Kitchen. Present day. Back to timeline. Visual. That day. The padlock. But now we understand what led here. I'm standing in front of that refrigerator, looking at the padlock, and I realize, this isn't the beginning. This is the ending. Narrator over. Voice changes. Harder. Clearer. I thought I understood her by then. I thought I knew exactly how cruel she could be. I thought I'd hit bottom. Visual. My face. Turning from sad to something else. Something dangerous. But I had no idea what she was planning. No idea what she was about to do next. And that's when I made a decision. I wouldn't just accept it. I wouldn't just disappear. I would respond in a way she'd never see coming. Visual. My hand reaching for my phone. Because you see, I had something she didn't. I had 3 years of evidence. I had bank statements, I had receipts, I had proof of every dollar I'd given them, every meal I'd cooked, every sacrifice I'd made. Visual. Documents flashing on screen, just glimpses, enough to know they're important. She thought a padlock would break me. She had no idea it was about to make me unstoppable. Cut. Black screen. Text. And then I made a phone call that changed everything. Open. Lawyer's office. Morning. Rain outside. That phone call I made at 11 p.m. changed everything. 3 hours later, I hadn't slept. I was sitting in a leather chair across from a man I hadn't seen in 5 years, with a manila folder full of secrets. Visual. The office. Dark wood. Heavy. Professional. Intimidating. My brother-in-law, the lawyer, he's looking at me over his glasses. Him. You brought everything? M.E. Bank statements, receipts, screenshots, 3 years of proof. Visual. I slide the folder across the desk. His hand reaches out. Slow, careful. Him. How angry are you right now? Me. I'm not angry. I'm awake. Visual. Close-up of his face, understanding something. Narrator over. I learned something that morning. Anger is loud. It screams and breaks things. But clarity? Clarity is quiet. Clarity is a knife. Visual. He opens the folder. Bank statements. Bills marked paid by me. Photographs. Dates. Numbers. Him. This house, your name isn't on the deed? Me. No. Him. But you've paid for. He scrolls through documents. 40% of the mortgage, the utilities, the property taxes. Me. More like 50. Visual. His expression hardens. Him. And he knows this? Me. He knows. He's just chosen not to think about it. Cut. Back at the house. Afternoon. Visual. I'm in my bedroom. The door is closed. I'm sitting on the bed with my laptop. I start a new email account. No name attached. Just a number. I create a spreadsheet. 3 years of data. Every dollar. Every date. Every contribution. Visual. Close-up of the screen. Numbers. Rows. Columns. My life in a database. Narrator over. I wasn't building a case. I was building a mirror, and I was going to make her look into it. Cut. Kitchen. Evening. Visual. She's making dinner. I'm sitting at the counter pretending to read. SHE. Did you pay the water bill? Me. No. You did. 2 weeks ago. She. I've been paying for a lot of things lately. Visual. She turns to look at me. There's something cruel in her smile. She can't. Maybe that's why I need my own groceries. Visual. I close my book slowly. MEE. I've paid $47,000 in this house over 3 years. I kept the receipts. Visual. She stops. Knife mid-air. She. What? Me. You heard me. Visual. I stand up. Walk past her. She's frozen. Narrator over. That's when she realized I wasn't broken anymore. I was building something. Cut. Montage. Preparation sequence. Visual. Black and white footage. Determined. Fast. I visit the bank. Visual. Sitting across from a banker, papers on the desk. Banker. You're aware that depending on your state's laws, you may have spousal or family rights to this property? ME. That's why I'm here. Visual. At a library. Computer. Researching. Printing documents. Hours pass. Days pass. I'm learning things I didn't know I needed to know. Visual. My hands writing in a journal. Not digital. Physical. Dated. Detailed. Incident after incident. Date after date. The locked refrigerator. December 10th, 2:47 p.m. The comment about my cooking. November 3rd, dinner time. The text messages I screenshotted. Dozens of them. Visual. Pages and pages of handwriting. Evidence. A record. Narrator over. I was documenting a life of cruelty, but I was also documenting a woman who thought she could erase me, who thought I didn't matter enough to fight back. Cut. Storage facility.day. Visual. I'm renting a storage unit. The employee hands me a key. Employee. How long are you renting for? MEE. As long as it takes. Visual. Inside the unit, empty, cold, waiting. I start moving things here. My valuables. My documents. My backup plan. Visual. Photo albums going in. My jeweler's box. My husband's watch. My inheritance, a small amount of money my mother left me that I've hidden away. Narrator over. I wasn't planning to leave. I was planning to have options. There's a difference. Cut. Phone call. Night. Late. Visual. I'm in my room. The door locked. Phone to my ear. ME into phone. I need to know what my options are. Him. My brother-in-law voiceover. Legally? You have several. You could file for family support. You could challenge the deed based on contribution. You could. Me. What would it cost? Him. What have you got? Me. Not much, but I've got $3,000 saved. Separate account. She doesn't know about it. Visual. Phone screen. The savings account app. $3,247.82. Him. Voiceover. That's enough to start. But listen to me. Are you sure about this? Visual. Long pause. Rain on the window. Me. I'm sure I'm tired of being treated like I don't exist. Cut. Letters. Writing sequence. Visual. I'm at my desk, late night, pen in hand, writing. I write a letter to my son. Not angry. Honest. Visual. Close-up of the words as I write them. I raised you to be better than this. I don't know when you forgot how to stand up for people you love, but I remember. I remember teaching you. And I'm going to show you what standing up looks like. Visual. I fold the letter, seal it in an envelope, place it on my nightstand. Visual. I write another letter, this one to her. You locked me out. I'm going to lock you out of something too, the comfortable lie that there are no consequences. Visual. I fold this letter too, but I don't seal it yet. Narrator over. I wasn't writing to hurt anyone. I was writing the truth. And the truth is the most powerful weapon a woman has. Cut. Calendar. Time-lapse. Visual. Pages flip. Days pass. 1 week. 2 weeks. A month. The house stays the same. The padlock stays on the fridge. She gets crueler. Visual. Quick cuts of moments her mocking my appearance, excluding me from plans, making comments to my son about me. But I'm different now. Visual. Me in my room, calm, organized, building. I'm not reacting. I'm preparing. Cut. Lawyer's office. Second visit. Day. Visual. 3 months have passed. The folder is thicker now. Him. You have documentation for all of this? Me. Everything. Him. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We file a claim for family support and restitution. We argue that you've contributed significantly to the marital household, and you deserve compensation for. Me. I don't want compensation. Visual. He looks up at me, confused. Him. You don't? Me. I want out. I want my money back. And I want him to see what he chose. Visual. He nods slowly, understanding. Him. That's going to hurt. Me. Good. Narrator over. 3 months of preparation, 3 months of her thinking she'd won because I was quiet. She didn't understand. Silence isn't surrender. Sometimes it's ammunition. Visual. My hands holding all the documents. Steady. Ready. I had proof of every dollar, every sacrifice, every moment. I made myself smaller for her, and I had something else too. Visual. Close-up of the letters I've written. I had the truth, and I was about to hand it to my son, whether he was ready for it or not. Cut. House, kitchen, present day. Visual. The padlock is still there, gleaming, cruel. The day I called the lawyer back and told him to proceed, I didn't feel relief. I felt something else entirely. Visual. My face. Determined. Dangerous. No turning back. Narrator over. I called my son that afternoon and asked him to come home early. I told him we needed to talk. I told him I had something to show him. And when I hung up the phone, I took that sealed letter off my nightstand and opened it, not to reconsider, but to make sure I meant every word. Cut. Black screen. Text. What I showed him that day would either destroy us or save us, but it would never let him pretend again. Open. Living room. Afternoon. Sunlight through windows. The day I showed her everything, the world didn't end. It just rearranged itself. Visual. I'm sitting on the couch. She's standing near the window. There's a folder on the coffee table between us. It looks like a bomb. I say, sit down. She, what is this? Me, sit down. Visual. She sits, slowly, suspicious. Narrator over. I was 68 years old, and I was about to tell my daughter-in-law exactly what she'd cost me. Not in anger, in facts. Visual. I open the folder. Documents slide out like evidence at a trial. M.E. This is the mortgage payment, $1,200. I paid this 16 times. Visual. Receipt. Date stamped. Proof. M.E. Kant. This is the property tax, $800 every quarter. I paid for 3 years. Visual. More receipts. Mounting. Visual evidence. M.E. Kant. Groceries, utilities, the roof repair, the new furnace, the internet bill, the cable, everything. She. Your son. Me. My son paid for nothing because my son didn't have to, because I was here, because I made myself useful enough to be invisible. Visual. Close-up of her face, the color draining. M.E. Kant. I gave you $47,000 over 3 years, and you locked me out of the refrigerator. Visual. Silence. Heavy. Real. Narrator over. She tried to speak. She tried to explain. She tried to make excuses, but there's nothing to say when the numbers are right there, when the proof is undeniable. Visual. I slide another document across the table. M.E. This is a letter from my lawyer. You'll receive the formal notice on Monday. She. A lawyer? You can't. M.E. I can, and I am. Visual. Her hands start to shake. M.E. Kant. I'm filing for family support restitution. I'm challenging the deed, and I'm moving out. But not because you won. Because I'm done losing to someone like you. Visual. I stand up. The folder stays on the table. M.E. Kant. Read everything. Call your own lawyer, and tell my son I want him home by 6. We need to talk. Cut. My bedroom. Hour later. Visual. I'm packing. A suitcase. Folding clothes. Calm. Methodical. Narrator over. I wasn't packing to run. I was packing to leave on my own terms. There's a difference between being pushed out and walking out. Visual. I pack my photos. The ones of my son as a child. The ones of my husband. The ones where I was still visible. Visual. I take down the photo of me and my son at his college graduation. I study it. Him proud, me proud, before her. Cut. Downstairs. Kitchen. 5:50. 5 p.m. Visual. The padlock is still on the fridge, like a monument to cruelty. My son walks through the door. Him. Mom? What's going on? She's freaking out. Me. Sit down. Visual. He sits. Slowly. He already knows something is wrong. M.E. I need to show you something. Visual. I put the folder in front of him. Me, Kant. I need you to look at this and tell me you didn't know. Visual. He opens it. His face changes with each page. M.E. Kant. Every payment, every sacrifice, every time I made myself smaller so you wouldn't have to choose. I documented all of it. Him. Mom. I didn't. I don't understand why you. Me. Why I what? Why I helped? Or why I finally stopped? Visual. I sit down across from him. M.E. Kant. I raised you better than this. I raised you to take care of people, to stand up, to see when someone is being treated like they don't matter, and you forgot. You looked at me every single day and forgot. Narrator over. He cried. My son sat there and cried. And I didn't feel satisfied. I felt sad. Sad for him. Sad for me. Sad for the mother-son relationship that his wife had destroyed while he watched and did nothing. Visual. He's holding his face, breaking. Him. What do you want me to do? M.E. I want you to choose. Finally, choose. Cut. Kitchen. Continuous. Visual. She appears in the doorway. She's read the documents. She's furious. She. You can't do this. This is insane. We'll fight it. Visual. I don't even look at her. Me. You already have. She. You're destroying this family. Visual. Now I turn to face her. Emmy. No, you did that when you decided that your comfort mattered more than my dignity. I'm just cleaning up what's left. Narrator over. That's when my son looked up at me. And I saw something in his face I hadn't seen in 3 years. Recognition. Shame. The beginning of understanding. Visual. His face. Painful. Real. Cut. Kitchen. Later that night. Visual. I'm making tea, not asking permission, not waiting for anyone's approval. My son comes in. Alone. Him. Mom, I'm sorry. Me. I know you are. Him. I should have seen it. Me. Yes, you should have. Visual. I pour the tea. 2 cups. Emmy can't. But you didn't. And I can't change that. I can only move forward. Him. Are you really leaving? Me. Yes. Him. Where will you go? Me. I have a plan. I've had a plan for 3 months. Visual. His face, realizing I've been preparing, that I've been thinking about this for months. Him. Did you plan this? Me. I plan to take care of myself. That's all I've ever done. That's all you should do too. Cut. Living room. Night. Visual. I'm sitting with a cup of tea, the suitcase by the door. Narrator over. That night, my son slept on the couch. She locked herself in their bedroom. And I sat in the kitchen, waiting for morning, waiting to see what a man looks like when he finally wakes up. Visual. The house is quiet. The padlock on the fridge catches the light. One last time. Cut. Front door. Morning. Visual. My suitcase. My bag with important documents. My photo albums. My son is standing there. He hasn't slept. Him. Let me help you. Me. No, this is something I need to do alone. Him. Mom, please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Visual. I look at him. My son. The boy I raised. The man who forgot me. Me. Being sorry isn't the same as understanding. But maybe one day you will. Visual. I pick up my suitcase. Me. Can't. When you do, you know where to find me. Cut. Car. Driving away. Visual. I'm driving, hands on the wheel, steady, looking forward, not back. Narrator over. I left that house with nothing but what I carried. And for the first time in 3 years, I felt like I had everything. I had my dignity. I had my clarity. I had my life back. Visual. The house shrinks in the rearview mirror. MEVO. She thought a padlock would break me, but it freed me. It showed me that I'd been a prisoner in a place I thought was my home, and that I'd been waiting for someone to give me permission to leave. I didn't need it. I never did. Cut. Apartment. New place. Day. Visual. Small. Simple. Mine. Every corner belongs to me. I'm unpacking. Slowly. Deliberately. Visual. Photo albums go on the shelf. My photos. My husband's watch on the nightstand. My tea in my own kitchen. Narrator over. I rented this place with the settlement money. The money the lawyer helped me recover. Part of what I'd given. Not all of it. But enough to know that someone saw what she'd done. Someone believed me. Visual. I'm standing in my kitchen. Empty. Clean. Free. MEVO. 3 years in that house, 3 months of planning, 1 day to walk away, and a lifetime to remember that I was worth more than a locked refrigerator. Cut. Phone. Buzzing. Visual. Text message on screen. Him. I talked to a therapist. I'm moving out. I see now what I did, what I let her do. Can we talk? Visual. I read it. I don't respond immediately. Narrator over. He wanted forgiveness. But what I'd learned was that forgiveness isn't something you give to make someone else feel better. It's something you keep for yourself. And I wasn't ready. Maybe I would be someday, but not today. Visual. I close my phone. Fade to black. Text. Sometimes the most powerful thing a mother can do is teach her child that she matters, even if it means losing him in the process. Open. Apartment, morning, 6 months later. 6 months ago, I didn't know who I was without a house to take care of. Now I'm learning, slowly, carefully, one morning at a time. Visual, my apartment, small but warm, sunlight on the walls, my photos everywhere, my space. I make coffee in my own kitchen, no one's asking me not to, no one's locking me out. Visual, steam rising from the cup, my hands still worn, still aged, but now they're mine. Narrator over. The first few months were the hardest, not because I missed them, but because I missed the woman I'd been when I thought they needed me, and I had to grieve her. Visual, quick flashbacks me in that house, cooking, cleaning, making myself small. I'd built my entire identity around being useful, and when I stopped being useful, I had to figure out who I was underneath. Cut. Coffee shop. Day. Visual. I'm sitting with a friend, another older woman, gray hair, kind eyes. She's smiling at me. Friend. You look different. Me. Different how? Friend. Like you're actually here, like you're not disappearing anymore. Visual. I smile. Really smile. For the first time in a long time. Me. I'm still figuring it out. Friend. Well, you're doing it right. Narrator over. I started working part-time at a library. Nothing glamorous. But it was mine, my schedule, my paycheck, my choice. Visual. Me at the library, helping a customer, organizing books, smiling. I took a painting class. I'd never painted before. I was terrible at it. But it didn't matter, because no one was there to judge me. Visual. Canvas. Brushstrokes. Colors. Imperfect. Beautiful. I called my brother-in-law, the lawyer, and took him to dinner. I paid. I thanked him for believing me when I didn't believe myself. Visual. Restaurant. Candlelight. 2 people laughing together. Cut. My mailbox day. Visual. I'm checking the mail. Bills. Flyers. And an envelope. Handwritten. Familiar handwriting. My hands pause. Visual. Close-up of the envelope. My name written carefully. Narrator over. 4 months of silence. 4 months of his text messages going unanswered. And then this arrived. Visual. I sit on the edge of my bed, the envelope in my hands, not opening it yet. Cut. Bedroom. Later that day. Visual. I'm lying in bed. The letter is open. I'm reading it slowly, carefully. Narrator over, reading his words. Mom, I don't know if you'll read this. I don't know if you'll forgive me. But I need you to know that I see now. I see what she did. What I allowed. What I chose. And I hate myself for it. Visual. My face as I read. No tears, just listening. Narrator over, Kant. I moved out 2 months ago. I'm in therapy. I'm learning why I let someone else tell me that my mother didn't matter. I'm learning that choosing to ignore cruelty is the same as choosing cruelty itself. Visual. The letter in my hands. Each word a small wound opening and closing. Narrator over, Kant. I know you needed me to choose you, and I'm sorry I didn't. I'm sorry I chose comfort over courage. But I'm choosing differently now. And if you're willing, I'd like to start over, not to go back, but to go forward, differently. Visual. I fold the letter, close my eyes. Narrator over, Kant. I love you, Mom. I always did. I just forgot how to show it. Your son. Narrator over, my voice returns. I read that letter 5 times. And each time I felt something different. First, I felt angry, then sad, then I felt hope. And hope is the most dangerous thing a mother can feel when it comes to her child. Visual. I placed the letter on my nightstand. I didn't call him, not that day, but I didn't destroy the letter either. Cut. Library. Week later. Visual. I'm shelving books. A man approaches. It's him, my son. He's changed, thinner, tired, but his eyes are different, clear. Him. Hi, Mom. Visual. I turned slowly. Me. Hi. Him. I didn't know you worked here. Me. There's a lot you don't know about me. That's part of the problem. Visual. Silence. Not uncomfortable. Honest. Him. I know, and I'm learning. Can we maybe get coffee? Talk? Visual. I set down the book I'm holding. Me. Okay, but I'm not going to pretend that I'm not still hurt. Him. I don't want you to. I want you to be honest with me. Finally, I want to know my mother. The real one. Not the one who makes herself small. Cut. Coffee shop. That afternoon. Visual. We're sitting across from each other. 2 cups of coffee. A chasm between us that's slowly closing. Narrator over. We didn't fix everything that day. You don't fix 3 years of abandonment over coffee. But we started. We started telling the truth. Visual. Him talking. Me listening. Then me talking. Him listening. Him. I filed for divorce 3 weeks ago. Me. How do you feel? Him. Relieved, ashamed, angry, all of it. Me. Good. You should be angry. At yourself, at her, at me if you need to. Anger means you're awake. Visual. He nods. Him. I'm going back to therapy. I'm learning about boundaries, about why I let her isolate me from you. Me. Why did you? Him. Because I was weak, because I was afraid, because I wanted someone to tell me what to do instead of thinking for myself. Visual. I reach across the table. I don't touch his hand, but I get close. Me. Don't do that again, not with anyone, not with me. Him. I won't. Narrator over. We didn't become perfect that day, but we became real. And real is better than the lie we were living before. Visual. We're still sitting there. The coffee is cold. We don't care. Cut. My apartment. Evening. Visual. He's helping me cook dinner in my small kitchen. Narrator over. He helped me cook. We made his favorite meal, the one I used to make every Sunday when he was a child. And we didn't talk about the past. We just existed together. Like we were learning how to be a mother and son again. Visual. Chopping vegetables. Laughing at something. A small, real moment. Cut. Window, night. Looking out at the city. Visual. I'm alone again. Standing at the window of my apartment. He's gone home, but he promised to visit next week. Narrator over. I'm 69 years old now. I have an apartment that's mine, a job that's mine, a life that's finally, completely mine. And I have my son back. Not in the way I expected, but better, because it's real. Visual. My reflection in the window, peaceful, strong. Me VO. I learned something profound through all of this. Love isn't about making yourself disappear for someone else. Love is about standing in your own light and trusting that the right people will want to stand beside you. Cut. Photograph day. Visual. A new photo. Me and my son. His arm around my shoulders. Both of us smiling. Real smiles. Narrator over. I framed this photo. I put it on my shelf. Not to celebrate winning, but to remember what it looks like when people choose each other from a place of strength, not desperation. Cut. Apartment. Kitchen. Present day. Visual. I'm making breakfast for myself. Humming. Alone but not lonely. Narrator over. About her, my daughter-in-law. I don't think about her much anymore. She's still out there, I'm sure. Probably still blaming everyone but herself. But that's no longer my problem. That's no longer my responsibility. Visual. I open the refrigerator. No padlock, just food. Freedom. MEVOB. What I know now is that some people will take everything from you if you let them, and some people will give you a gift by taking you to your breaking point. Because that's when you finally fight back. That's when you finally remember that you matter. Cut. Mirror. I'm getting ready. Visual. Getting dressed, doing my hair, looking at myself in the mirror. Narrator over. I'm going out tonight. Dinner with friends, a movie after, nothing spectacular. But it's mine. My choice. My time. My life. Visual. I'm smiling at myself. Not vain, Just satisfied. MEVO. I don't regret giving everything to that house. I don't regret trying to be the mother-in-law I thought I was supposed to be. But I'm grateful that it ended when it did. Because if I'd stayed much longer, I would have disappeared completely. Cut phone. Text message appears. Visual. A text from my son. HIM. Mom, I made a reservation for dinner next Sunday. You, me, and I invited Aunt. Is that okay? I want to start rebuilding this family. The real way. The honest way. Visual. I smile. I type back. ME. I'd like that. I'd like that very much. Final scene. Apartment. Evening. Golden hour. Visual. The sun is setting. My apartment is bathed in golden light. I'm sitting on the couch with a cup of tea, my photo albums around me. Narrator over. You want to know what the worst part of that padlock was? It wasn't the rejection. It wasn't the cruelty. It was that it almost worked. It almost convinced me that I didn't deserve better. Almost. Visual. I'm turning pages of photos, smiling at memories. MEVO, but I did deserve better, and so do you. If you're watching this and someone has made you feel small, someone has made you feel like you don't matter, let me tell you something. You do matter. Your life matters. Your dignity matters. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. Visual. I close the album. MEVO. I walked away, and I found myself on the other side. Visual. Me in silhouette against the sunset. Strong, peaceful, free. Fade to black. Text on screen. 6 months later, she filed for custody of the house and moved on. He continued therapy and rebuilt his relationship with his mother. They're not perfect, but they're honest. And in a family, honesty is everything. Sometimes the person who saves you is yourself. End credits roll over. Narrator. Final words, gentle but firm. If this is your story too, please know you don't have to wait for permission to live your life. You don't have to wait for someone else to give you permission to matter. You already do. You already did. All you have to do is remember.